Welcome to Face the Nation. Today we are changing our regular programming to take advantage of an unprecedented opportunity. Here in our studios we have two men who were fundamental in the founding of this nation. Please, and without further ado, welcome Mr. and Mrs. Ben Franklin and Mr. and Mrs. Thomas Jefferson. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen.
You will please excuse our attire, but travel through time is devastating to one's clothing.
Huh, not only clothing, but everything. Look at my hair.
Oh, that's quite all right, ma'am.
At last I found something where being bald is an advantage.
I guess. I am sure that the American nation would like to know what the attitude of the people was in 1776. What do you think?
The altitude of the people. I guess I'd say it was sea level. You know, we all lived there on the East Coast. I would say sea level.
Ben, dear, I believe you're talking about the attitude, not the altitude.
I'm sorry, I'm getting just a little hard of hearing.
I understand.
I believe the people were for independence, but they were afraid of what that would mean.
I totally disagree with you, Thomas. Oh, I believe the people just wanted to be left alone. They wanted to be left alone to farm and to do their business. They didn't want interference from the government, whether it was England or America.
Sorry, Ben, but you're wrong as usual. The people were 100% for independence.
If everyone was so in favor of independence, why did we have such a difficult time getting it signed?
What are you talking about? It was unanimous. Every delegate signed it.
I didn't. But when I went and looked at the final document, there was my name and my signature.
Ben, not only is your hearing going, I think your mind is going too. You signed it along with everybody else.
Mr. Jefferson, how long did it take you to write the Declaration of Independence?
I spent about a week on it. I had to make several changes and several drafts before I finally came up with the final wording.
I hate to say this, but I have a real problem with this supposed writer of the document. I mean, John Adams and I wrote the form, and we then gave it to Thomas here just to edit. But then, Tom, I agree. He had to change a few words. But old Dicto Tom here, he's taken all the credit for it.
So.
Dicto Tom? What you two gave me was unreadable. Nobody could understand what you were trying to say. If we had gone with what you had written, we'd all still be British subjects.
Oh, I can see that there's some disagreement over the details, but let's move along. After the document was sent to England, what was your next course of action?
We began recruiting men to serve in the Continental Army. Most of them were farmers with very little training, and we were outnumbered 400 to 1.
Now, does that seem like a wise thing to do, to rebel against the greatest, strongest nation in the world? Our signatures on that document was our death warrant. I mean, if we lost.
If we lost.
It seems to me that the war against England was not going well. There were not many victories, and there were quite a few defeats.
Now, what do you expect? We had a farmer for a general, we had farmers for the soldiers, and no training and few weapons.
You make it sound as if we were totally inept.
No, we were totally inept.
You're trying to make it sound much worse than it was.
What, in your opinion, was the event that turned the war in the colonists' favor?
I believe it was when that actor lost his son to the British general. What was his name?
The general's name?
Oh, the actor.
I think his name was Mel Gibson. Once he entered the war, the British were done for.
Yes, and he's so good looking.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing like you.
Yes, after he entered the battle, Cornwallis was defeated, and the British packed up and went home.
I think that Mel Gibson was called by God. This war would have never been won if God had not been on our side. That's true. I hear that years later, this Mel Gibson, he even made a movie showing the life and death of Christ. I mean, he was truly a called man.
What do each of you think of this wonderful country that you are both founders of?
It has surpassed any dream I've ever had about it. I knew that with God in this government, this country would be the most powerful country in the world.
What amazes me is the vastness of this country. We only knew of 13 colonies. But to see this world today, it blows one's mind.
The thing that I am most amazed at is the population. In 1776, we had less people in the country than now live in the city of Riverside, California.
Well, I think the most amazing thing is that we actually now have slaves doing interviews with free white folks. I mean, I never thought that that would ever happen. I never thought something like that could happen.
I, sir, am not a slave. Slavery was abolished more than 140 years ago. We fought a war over that thing, and slavery was abolished. Today we are all slaves to our government, but with God's help, even that can be abolished.